Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and take a big moment of silence. All right, and thank you for coming to Glyco-Thymoline, more than a mouthwash. How many people have used Glyco-Thymoline? Oh, okay, preaching to the choir, okay. So what is Glyco-Thymoline? It's been a family tradition since 1894. It was created by pharmacists to combat the adverse effects of the increasingly acidic diets associated with the American industrial era. So that acidic diet started in 1894, basically, and it's getting worse and worse, right? Its unique formula combines the natural properties of eucalyptol, menthol, thymol, and pine oil to produce a clean, refreshing feeling. So what's in it? Water, glycerin, alcohol, 3.27%, sodium borate, which is also known as borax, sodium benzenate, which is a preservative, sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda, the carmine, which is, it's a beetle. When it's crushed, it expels this acidic, deep red acid, which is what carmine is. So it's beetle juice, basically. Sodium silicate, is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, and it's used as an analgesic. Menthol and thymol are both directly from herbs, which are antimicrobial, antibacterial, and antifungal. And the methyl salicylate is an ester naturally produced by many species of plants. Wintergreen is included in that. So most of these ingredients are very natural, though I would say it's probably not a vegan option. Though bar products, and I think I saw on the Glyco website that they're making options without the beetle juice in it. Okay, so some of the indications for Glyco-Thymoline includes externally bites, bladder ailments, burns, cataract, chapped skin, the common cold, congestion, denture cleaning, eye problems, especially irritated or tired, goiter, personal hygiene, poison ivy, poor digestion, postnasal drip, and prior to an adjustment, sinusitis, stings, and sunburns. Internally, you can take it in a little bit of water for acidity, bad breath, ear problems, intestinal disturbances, mucosity, nasal and throat cataract, oral hygiene, and throat irritations. Yes, you may ask a quick question.
What is cataract? C-A-T-A-R-R-H. What is that?
Cataract? It's an excessive... I knew somebody was going to ask. That's right. So it's an excessive discharge or buildup of mucus in the nose or throat associated with inflammation. Yeah. I knew somebody would ask. And I can never remember to say it correctly, so. The only contraindication is if you're allergic to any of the parts of the Glyco-Thymoline, so you can always do a little skin test to see if you're allergic to it.
What will happen if you put it on? What will happen if you're allergic?
You'll probably get a little bit of a skin rash, some sort of irritation, because you put the cotton ball on the skin and then put the Band-Aid or something to keep it in place overnight for at least 48 hours. And if you get any kind of reaction, chances are you're allergic to something in it, because it's an alkaline-producing mouthwash, so it should not cause any skin irritation. It actually relieves some of that, yes.
Are you going to go through the list of how to use this for the various, let's say, problems, or?
Some of them, yes.
Okay.
We'll do some of the readings to answer some of those questions, yeah. And I'm going to show how to make a pack for sinusitis, colds, that sort of thing. Okay? Did you have a question, Zaire? No. Okay. Okay, so some of the purposes includes reducing inflammation, relieves local tension, relaxes the spine the day before an adjustment, aids in elimination, and treats mucosity. And then there's the ad from the original. The company has actually said that if it wasn't for all the ARE members using Glyco-Thymoline, they probably would have went out of business a long time ago. Because Listerine, you know, being a big company, and a couple of the others would have put them out of business. But, thanks to us. Yeah, yes. Yeah, yes. And at one time, they had a lot more things in their ads of what it was good for, because they found out that the ARE was using it, and they figured out what Edgar Cayce had recommended it for, and so they had all of that listed in their advertisement, but the FDA told them, bad, 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 bad. So they went back to using just what it was for, mucosity.
Wow.
Yeah. So the materials needed for a pack, of course, the Glyco-Thymoline. Cotton cloth or washcloth, just a little one is all you need. Warm water, heating pad, plastic sheeting, or a medium plastic bag. A gallon Ziploc bag, towel, small bowl, cotton rounds, and a small pillow. Now, that's if you're doing, you know, a nice ritual and you're going to lay down and just enjoy the moment. When it's just down and dirty, all you need is the cloth and the glyco, and boom. Okay? So I will explain this, how to make a pack. So now you could do the pack a couple of different ways. You can use your Ziploc and put your washcloth directly in there, pour your glyco in, and you can run this under hot water for a little bit to get that warmed up. A lot of times I'll just take the washcloth, run it under really hot water, wring it out, pour my glyco in it, and then put it on. Some people like to have the bowl so they can kind of dip.
Are you going to just put it on like over your nose and cheeks?
Yeah, your sinuses. For sinusitis,
Yeah.
it goes directly over
Like
here.
that, completely.
Yes, because you have sinuses up here, sinus cavities up here, and down here. As many of you know, when you've had sinusitis or a really hard cold, and anytime you bend over, your whole face hurts, that's why, because the sinus cavities have filled up with mucosity. Yeah, and other things you don't want to know about. So there's several ways to do it, and any way is right way as long as you use it, okay? If you're using it for a bug bite, just dab a little bit on cotton and put it straight on. You're going to keep it on the face for at least 10 to 20 minutes. Longer if you've got a hot heating pad or something to go with it. So you'd use the washcloth and take a little garbage bag or plastic. You could probably just use saran wrap or something, and then put that on your face, and then use a towel over it to keep the heat in. Yes?
Well, I'd like to propose this way that I have used it. First, you run a hot tub of bubbled water.
A bubble bath?
Well, I was going to say bubble, but you would fill that with a whole bunch of Epsom salt.
Fill it with Epsom salt.
You're in bad shape. And so you put yourself in there and put your feet up. Then you put your Glyco-Thymoline pack over your face. And you just lay there for 20 minutes. And then you're practically cured.
Yeah, the Epsom salt will take a lot out. Yeah.
You can best to get out of the tub after that.
Yeah, if you can get out of the tub. Okay. And some people find that the drawing that happens over the eyes with the Glyco-Thymoline is a little too intense, so you can use a little cotton ball or cotton round over the eyes and then put the towel over. It does tend to soak it up a little bit, but that's okay. It's good for the eyes too, because it acts as an antiseptic. Okay, so that's your basic pack. You just pour your glyco in and go. You can use it with heat. There were some conditions that he actually said not to use heat with it, but over the sinuses, it feels really good to have that heat breaking up the congestion. Okay, what else we got here? You can leave the pack on for 20 to 30 minutes. When you're done, you can put it back in your Ziploc bag and put it in the refrigerator. It can be reused a couple times. Just keep adding the Glyco to it. After you remove the pack, wash your face with warm water to remove any residue, because Glyco is a little sticky after it's been on. And you can repeat this 2 to 3 times a day or until the passages clear up. Now, it really works very well. We had a student just on Monday who came to class and couldn't breathe. I just filled up a washcloth, handed it to her, and told her to put it on her face. And by the end of class, she could breathe again. I mean, worked just that quick. It's excellent. Okay, some of the other things you can use it for. So the tired, irritated eyes, you can bathe them with a weak Glyco solution. Use it just an eye cup, or fill up a little thing and just splash it in your eyes if you need to. 2 parts distilled water to 1 part Glyco. Okay, so that one's real easy to do. For mucus in the throat, you can take internally about 2 to 3 times a day, 3 drops of Glyco in a glass of water, so about 8 ounces, and use it as an intestinal antiseptic as well as an absorbent of the mucus from the cough. As a word of caution, Glyco-Thymoline should not be ingested internally without the supervision of your healthcare practitioner. Yes.
So are you using that just to gargle and spit out? Is that it?
No, you can actually drink it. A lot of people drink it for this reason. Yes. It helps.
2 or 3 drops, though.
Yes, just very, very weak. Because it does have a lot of essential oils in it, so it can be a little strong for the system. Okay, so very weak. They actually use, in the spa, they'll make what they call the spa waters, and sometimes they feature Glyco-Thymoline as a spa water. It's just very, very, very weak. It's like barely pink. You can barely tell there's anything in it. Okay. For spinal adjustments. If you know you're getting a spinal adjustment the day before, go ahead and put it on a pack on your back. That can be a little difficult if you're not a yogi, but you can put the pack down, put your trash bag, put your pack down, and then just lay down on top of it, which is the easiest way to do it. If you don't have anybody that lives with you and can do it for you, right? It's applied at least for an hour to an hour and a half over the spine from top to bottom. So you'll want a bigger washcloth. Probably one of these would be long enough, the little hand towels, if not a big old bath towel. Okay. So it says to place over the spinal column 2 thicknesses of heavy cotton cloth saturated with Glyco-Thymoline. Place over this for 5 to 10 minutes in hot water bottle and let it get pretty warm. So he said to use a water bottle with that, a hot water bottle.
Heating pad?
You can use a heating pad, I would think. I don't think heating pads were very...
They weren't around.
Well, they might have been around, but they might not have been something that everybody would have.
Right.
Yes. In this reading, 3281-1, he said to apply each day for 1 hour Glyco-Thymoline packs over the areas across the hips throughout the iliac plexus. Use 3 to 4 thicknesses of cotton cloth saturated in Glyco-Thymoline. Apply the heat. Also use the Glyco-Thymoline pack around the knee, but not to apply heat here. But do apply heat over the sacral area. These to aid in eliminating the accumulations there through assisting the system to absorb poisons.
All 3 of those areas
Yeah.
assist in
Absorbing the poison. So from that reading, I would have to go back and look and see what exactly they were working with, but it seemed like there was something going on with the knees that they needed help with. I just thought it was very interesting the way it had it going on in 3 spots at the same time. And in this reading, 112-9, on the throat, apply 3 to 4 thicknesses of cotton cloth saturated with Glyco-Thymoline, full strength, normal temperature, not heat applied. So that's the outside of your sore throat. Okay, 987-5. Over this, use salt heat, not just a bag of heated salt, but sow the salt into a container, quilted as it were. Heat this in the oven and apply over the Glyco-Thymoline pack instead of using an electric pad. Preferably use iodized salt, not so hot as to burn, but let the body lie upon or over the pack. Yeah. So that's, that's pretty easy, but the salt actually adds to the properties of the healing properties of the pack itself. They also used it in conjunction with apple cider vinegar, the salt packs like that. Yes?
What kind of container is that that you would put it in, that you can think of?
Oh, the salt?
Yeah, put the salt in. It's not just a bag of heated salt, but sow the salt into a container, quilted.
Mm-hmm. In some of the readings, he said to put it inside a pillowcase and then, do a little slip stitch on it and use that. So just any kind of, in this case, it seems to be like a little bit thicker material. So it would just be a little, quilted item.
A little sack like.
Yeah, and just create a sack out of it and then put it in the oven. Of course, most people would put it in their microwave. If you're doing that, be very careful because the salt will burn the cloth. So you need to do like 3 to 4 seconds at a time and keep checking it and keep checking it. Just be careful because you can't set it on fire. Yes, I've done that, so I know. Yeah, yes. Unintentional aromatherapy. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. Yes, it's kind of bad. Yeah. So was Glyco-Thymoline the only commercial mouthwash that he mentioned in the readings? Why, no. I'm glad you asked. It wasn't. He also recommended Listerine. In this reading, 8-2, so that was pretty early on. Then to remove and to relieve the condition in the system, for that of the local condition has been exercised and shown in the system, in the throat, in the larynx, in the bronchioles, use the solution of dioxide. Then you'd use the solution of Glyco-Thymoline, interchanging, again with Listerine, as antiseptics, both acting in this manner. One is an alkaline, one is an acid, so that the absorption of the various conditions as produced by this will equalize and minimize the effect. So Listerine is acidic solution, and then the Glyco-Thymoline would be alkaline. He actually recommended that sort of thing. Also dealing with some mouth issues, to use the Listerine and then rinse with the Glyco-Thymoline. You have a question? No? Yeah. Try to figure that steps by steps out, yeah. Okay. In reading 470-23, he actually mentions Levorus here as well. And as we find for the body, it would be well to vary, that is, use such as Listerine at one period and Levorus at another. Use these, of course, as strong as practical, but do not burn tissue with same, to be sure. They may be diluted with a little water. One is an acid, the other is alkaline, reacting antiseptic. So this was used in the throat and nasal passages here, but he also recommended that Listerine and Levorus combination and dandruff to use in your hair. There was other readings regarding that. So that was just a little side note.
I have a question.
Yes, your question.
So when you're using two like that, so you would soak a cloth with Listerine and then soak another cloth with Levorus?
Well, this one was putting it in a little spray.
Oh.
This particular reading had it as a spray and just spraying it into your throat.
And they were combined? Or
No, he wouldn't combine it. It would be Listerine first, and then maybe an hour or two later, or the next day, you would use the Livoris. Yeah, just switch off and on. And that would help jumpstart the body back into homeostasis. So you're using an acid and an alkaline, acid, alkaline, and that would just kind of kickstart it back into working correctly. Okay. And then here, it actually uses it as a gargle or to swab the throat with Glyco-Thymoline or Livoris, so you could have used those interchangeably. Either of these are as alkaline in their reaction, and small doses given internally as an antiseptic occasionally would be well for the body. And I have a testimonial to read. I announced it on my Facebook page that I was going to be here today. And Edgar Cayce said that he would like to list his personal experiences and add to this. He said, the most dramatic first. I had a slow-growing type of cancer on my face. I tried a number of natural things and was getting ready to surrender to modern medicine. I had been putting hydrogen peroxide and baking soda in my bath water for months with no benefit. Inspiration had to come from spirit, and almost unconsciously I put in about a third of a bottle of Glyco. Within a couple of weeks, my skin cleared up and has stayed that way. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. Over the weekend, I bit my tongue so badly that I thought I would need stitches. After a couple of hours, I was still bleeding. I took in a mouthful of Glyco. Bleeding stopped in a few minutes. I purchased Glyco by the case. So I thought that was really nice of him to let me do that.
Do you think he just applied the Glyco to his skin?
Well-
Cancer was just a little cotton ball?
Well, it sounds like he was taking a bath in the Glyco.
A bath?
Well, he poured it in water.
He poured it in the bath water.
But he said it was on his face, so
Yeah, I don't know.
what did he do with his face?
Well, he's probably...
Question him, and then tell the group next week.
And then tell, well, next week it's potatoes.
Well, you know, side note.
Side note, yeah.
Does that
Kids
mean
are
that
best.
Glyco is available to purchase at any drugstore, or you have to order from bar, or the
The bookstore, the ARE bookstore,
No,
the
but I'm saying
Heritage.
if you don't live here, or wherever this person is, or if you're out of state, can you get it at any drugstore as well, or bar?
I don't think you can get it. I haven't seen it in any place other than the Heritage or the bookstore for sale.
You can buy it on.
You can buy it from Bar's
Yeah.
website or
Can you
catalog.
buy it directly online from the company?
I believe you can directly online. Yeah. I would think so.
Heritage might have it too, right?
Oh, they do.
Oh yeah, the Heritage has it. They carry it. And a lot of the field conferences, they'll order it and they'll have it available at a field conference a lot of times. So
A lot of health food stores in other cities will stock it also.
they will stock it if you ask them, probably. Or order it for you so then you don't have to do the shipping and handling. Yeah. Yeah, see? Good ideas. I typically use it for bug bites and just pretty much everything. If I'm not going for the castor oil, I'm going for the Glyco. Is there any other questions? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming today. I appreciate you. And if there's no more questions, have a great day. I'm sorry? Be here next Wednesday, same time, same bat station for potatoes. Not just for French fries, yes.